My name is Mulu. I am 35 years old. In the countryside, my hearing friend who was living with me got married. After her wedding, families gathered together to have a party. In the evening, the newlyweds were sleeping on one side of the room and I was sleeping on the other side. I couldn't see clearly, but some people were playing cards. I felt someone touching me. People suspected I was pregnant when I became sick, but I insisted I didn't know what had happened to me. The responsible person for the deaf school where I was attending, Waldigorgas, feared that Bahailu and Dimra and the Americans giving aid might be angry, so Waldigorgas brought me to Makanisa School for the Deaf. I was now hiding. Waldigorgas asked Dimra if it were possible for me to live with Bafina since I was pregnant and needed help. Bafina felt sorry and was concerned and welcomed me to stay with her. I didn't know how many months pregnant I was and did some tests. After a Christmas party, I felt so much pain. I didn't understand why I felt so sick. I was anxious, I couldn't sleep, and was tossing and turning. Bafina and two other deaf women with me were so worried. Bafina called Dimra again and again to come take me to the hospital, but he was not very concerned and didn't come. Because I had no ride to the hospital, I gave birth at home in the early morning hours. I stayed at home and rested there in Makanisa Deaf School compound in Bafina's house. We did not ever go to the hospital, but a doctor working in the school gave my baby injections. I was shy and ignorant about nursing, but I learned a lot about nursing and feeding my baby with Bafina's help. She was so helpful and took good care of us. Hoptu was the driver for the Church of Christ mission. My son used to stop eating when he heard the car that Hoptu drove and ran to his car. My boy cried and begged me again and again to let him go with Hoptu, and of course I did let him. Hoptu always told me my son was so beautiful. He said, "Let me take care of him. I live alone, and I can give him food and clothing." I agreed with Hoptu that he could take care of Tariku for me, but I never gave him away to Hoptu. Bafina and another friend, Nebu, advised me to let Hoptu take Tariku because he wasn't married and he could take good care of him. My son was living with Hoptu, and I wasn't getting along with Bafina. I didn't know where to go, but my friend advised me that Alpha School for the Deaf had an organization that could help. They told me to go to a place called Kanichi Center. It was a much better place for me to live, and I was really happy there. My son was living with Hoptu, and I was sure he was fine. He had everything, so I wasn't worried. I was living in Kanichi Center and attending school in Menelik. I had food and shelter. I was also fine. One day, I met a friend who stopped me on the road to say hello and asked me, "How is my son? Where is he now?" I said, "He is every day at Makanisa School and they are taking very good care of him." My roommate encouraged me to go visit my son at Makanisa Deaf School compound. I was afraid to go, but my roommate said, "Don't worry, I will help you." At first, the guards would not allow me into the compound, but Bahailu, the country representative at that time, saw me and was happy to see me and allowed me to enter. He gave me his greetings. When I saw Bafina, our differences were forgotten and we warmly greeted each other. Bafina invited me into her home, but I couldn't find my son and I couldn't find Hoptu either. He was always flying back and forth to America at that time. One day, I was told by a friend that Hoptu was taking my child to America and I should go meet him. He said to wait at Sadis Kilo, so I said, okay, I will go and say goodbye. I hurried and changed my clothes and went there. I waited a long time, but he was not coming. It was a lie. No one came. Later, I had heard he left. I was very disappointed not to see him. I begged Bahailu and Hoptu and many others to reconnect me with my son, but it never happened. I really miss my son, Tariku. I would be so happy if I could find my son. I want a relationship with him and his wife and my grandchildren. I want to be a grandma. Hoptu, I beg you, find my son and let me have a relationship with him. But if he is lost, I will cry, and I will always be weeping for my son. I hope the whole world sees and announces and helps me to find my son and bring him to me. Please, before I die, in the name of Jesus Christ. Please, God is watching.